What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the One Broke Actress podcast, an honest account of actor life, plus a few lessons I learned in the process. I am your host, Sam Valentine, and today is a very special episode because I have on someone who is not only an incredible actress, a fabulous mentor, an incredible woman in the community, a fantastic follow on Instagram and TikTok, but she has also become one of my closest internet friends, which evolved into becoming a phone call friend, which is a big deal for me because I don't have a lot of phone call friends, and eventually became a real life friend. And today we are bringing you in on what's happening between the two of us because we're making some big announcements in the past week. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy Gabrielle Byndloss. Hi, Gab.
Hi, Sam. Thanks for the intro.
We were just together a week ago, and I feel like I haven't seen you in about 100 days.
Yeah, secretively, I was like, oh, yeah, this is virtual, not in person, because we can't do in person because we live across the country.
I know, but we became like, it is truly an anomaly. And when you guys listen to this, we'll have already had some big announcements, but I think that this podcast could be a great jumping off point where you really hear us talk about what's going on. But to the brass tacks of it, you are one of the actors that I met and I was like, there is something important here. We need to be friends. And I don't know why. And I instantly felt comfortable telling you everything about my life. And then it translated to in person. And I was like, this is special. How do we give this to other people?
Well, my story's a little bit different, but we'll meet in the middle on that one.
Wait, no, tell yours.
Well, when I first heard about Sam Valentine and possibly like working together to teach a class, I was like, I don't want to work with somebody else that is constantly taking the roles that I want, because I have a whole history of them saying we want diversity and then they go with somebody that looks just like Sam Valentine. And then I got on this class and I met you and I was like, damn, she's really nice. Okay, so maybe she's not as bad as I made her out to be in my head. And then we started talking through, like, I see the chat in the class. And I was like, oh, I actually like her. She's witty. She's funny. We'll take this to the next level. Then you asked me to be on your podcast. And that podcast, I feel like we were recording it for however long everybody heard it for. But we actually took a lot longer to talk after that. And that's when the love affair started for me. And I felt like, oh, this is one of my people. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Wow. So if you can't tell, I go all in and you wait. Like, I'm someone who's like, oh, everyone's great until they prove me different. And you're like, everyone's different until they prove they're great.
Oh, that was such a sweet way to say it. I'm more like, everyone sucks until they prove to me that they're great. But yes, everyone's different. Sounds good.
You know, to each his own. I'll take my verbiage. You take yours. So essentially, I mean, I'll have linked to Gabrielle's podcast in the show notes if you guys have not heard her initial podcast from a couple of years ago. But since then, we have been in such constant contact. We have grown so close. We've gotten to actually spend time together, which has been magical. And our careers have aligned in such interesting ways where I'll call you and tell you about something and you're like, I experienced this. Then here's how I dealt with it. Or you'll call me and be like, I'm dealing with this on social media. And I'm like, oh, I dealt with that a couple of years ago. Here's how this went. That coming together and having a community from someone who is across the country from you, who is an entirely different casting from you, who lives an entirely different life is so rare, but we don't think that it has to be.
Not at all.
No. So we're going to dive into this, but we have officially, you guys know I've had the Patreon for 2 years now, and I love this group, and the Patreon is going to exist as it is already. We're still going to do the bonus podcasts and all that good stuff through Patreon, and they already know all this information, so I'm just going to repeat it for them. But the insider groups in Patreon who get monthly calls with me and study halls and all this other good stuff is moving. And I am combining communities with the powerhouse that is Gabrielle Byndloss and all of her Atlanta actors and international actors, because you work with everyone now.
I do. It's wild.
Yeah. And we are creating the membership.
The membership.
First, let's go over kind of what it is and what
Okay.
is the purpose behind this. So why don't you take the reins on this? Because people instantly are going to think 2 actors, are they creating an acting class?
So the purpose of the membership is to essentially do exactly what happened with me and Sam, but for more individuals in this industry. There's this magic between being able to talk to another actor that lives in a different part of town or in a different market than you, and sharing insights between the two and being able to learn from the same thing that you said, like, hey, I'm experiencing this. And someone saying, oh, I've experienced that before. Have you tried this? Being able to lean on each other for community. So what we're doing is creating that for everyone in Atlanta and everyone in LA and outside of it, and also providing the wisdom that we have together as these 2 powerhouses without doing any coaching on how to act at all.
Nope, it is not an acting class. That's not for us to do. That's not our job.
No, what I think we both have done really well is figure out how to be an actor and the business behind it, which is the thing that no one ever gets. You go to acting class and you're on set, but no one tells you what to do on the in-between, mindset wise, what to do for quote unquote homework, how to be in relationship, how to do networking, how to research things, all of that stuff. There's no one there to tell you. And so the 2 of us have been doing that on social media and with Patreon and things like that. And now we're going to do it together and have the benefit of both worlds.
Yes. And so the doors are open right now to join the membership, and we'll kind of go over what it entails and then why we created this the way we created. Because the reason it's not an acting class is because that's not what we do best. Like you said, there are other people who coach acting and they're amazing at it. Of course, I want actors in all different places in their career to join this community because that's just going to make us so much stronger. But I think that you need to have your priorities on straight. So if you're like, I haven't ever taken an acting class, I don't really know how to act, don't spend money on this yet. Spend your money and your valuable time and energy in an acting class. And then when you feel like, I understand what this work is, I'm getting what the craft is, continue your education there and then come join the community. I think that's a really important thing to asterisk, because I know a lot of us get excited, and you get these questions all the time on TikTok, especially. Like I get them on Instagram too. It's like, I want to start acting. And I'm like, go to class.
Yeah, go to class.
Number
That's
one.
a great place to start.
And then when you need someone to say, okay, I've been in acting class for a while. Now what? What's the next step? What do I do with my time? How do I deal with how I feel in my brain? Then you come to us.
Think of it like when you're working a normal 9 to 5. You get trained by this one person, and you probably never see that one person again because they are at some other place in their career in some other office. But you're like, thank you so much for the training. And then you make friends with everybody else that's in your office that's working around you and doing things. And when like things go south, you guys all talk about it. Maybe you even grab a drink. You get closer and closer with those people. But those people are your community that you can lean on those in between as you continue to level up at whatever job you're at. And those people see you and you see them. And there's this commonality of we're all in this together. But that always happens after you've been trained by the one person that you come in, which is what we're saying. Get your acting training, then come to us for the community.
Yes. And so let's kind of go over what our community is. So the goal here is that you have a safe place to go with what you might consider the dumbest question, with the silly little things, with concerns and detail questions. It's originating in an online portal that gives you access to tons of stuff, which we'll go over. But then you also get access to a full Slack channel that is all of us actively asking questions, talking, finding readers, figuring out what we need to work on this week, admin-wise. And then we also have, in addition to that, a full calendar of stuff. And we didn't want to overschedule anyone. So it's like nice and spaced out. And we have office hours and study halls every single month.
So office hours with us are something that you guys can come and have chit chats with Sam and chit chats with me about any questions that you might want to have. And that's a great place to be able to ask those questions that Sam and I have had experience with. So for me, like if you're one fellow in this industry and you are unsure as to what to do with your hair and you're showing up to set, like that's something that you would bring to an office hour. Or what should I be doing with my hair for my headshots? Like those types of questions. It's that one-on-one time for you to ask questions with us that are very specific and be able to get that direct response for us in the moment versus having to wait because of the Slack channel, maybe taking a little bit of people getting back to you or having to send like an email or something like that. So it's one-on-one time with Sam and I, and for us to answer any questions you want or to listen to you vent and help you process as well.
Yes. Yes. And also for your peers to be in there as well, because there might be things people have questions about the New York market, very specific things. And maybe we don't have that, but somebody else in that group is in the New York market or the New Mexico market or some sort of like Austin, Texas market or something like that. Maybe somebody's overseas and there's a very specific question about maybe a specific agency or an email you want to format or something like that. We can group source the answers and utilize each other, which, by the way, is like a very low-key version of everyone's favorite word, which is networking.
I hate networking, but it is. You're so right.
But that's what it is, right? That's what it is. I mean, I'm thinking about today, a friend of mine called me earlier and said, hey, I'm filming this short for this film contest. Do you want to be the lead? And I was like, hell yeah. He's a friend. He's really good at making short films. And he thought of me, which was cool. And he said, I need a couple of guys. Who do you know who fits this exact breakdown? And I instantly went, oh, interesting. Who have I had a meet? And I scrolled through my calendar first to see who I've talked to recently, who I had coffee with recently. And then I got on Instagram and social media to scroll through and say, who have I been messaging with? Which of my friends am I not thinking about right now? Who does this kind of comedy? Who does this kind of stuff? And the people who are in your zeitgeist are the first people that come to mind. So it's just like a gentle, quiet, relaxed form of networking, which is how it should be, right? You should get to know other people in the space in a way that makes you feel comfortable. And I know a lot of actors are shy in that capacity. So maybe you just want to show up to an office hours and listen. Maybe you just want to hear, and they're going to be recorded. And then we pull the main topics and list them with the office hours. So maybe you're someone who does work a heavy job and you come home and you have to take care of kids or something like that. You can listen to them on the weekends on your own time when you're ready, and you can pick the calls that talk about things that are interesting to you or that you're curious about. We want to make this as accessible as possible to as many people as possible. So alongside office hours, which there'll be one that Gabrielle leads every month and one that I lead every month. And I mean, I'm going to go to some of your calls, if not all of them.
Yeah, I'm totally going to be sitting in on your calls as well.
So you might get a lot.
We have work and we won't be able to, but yes.
I know, because I'm excited too there is never a capacity at which you stop learning in this career. I don't think I know more than anyone in these calls. I think I just have different experiences and maybe longer time. So I can't wait to learn from you. You were in one of my office hours recently with the Patreon, and you told us about doing an industrial, and we're talking about the differences in that. And I learned something new. Like, you just can't stop learning from people in this creative business because the rules are mushy. There's no real rules.
The rules live in the gray of the black and white, basically.
Yes. This whole career feels like it lives in the gray. So that is going to be where you come and get immediate on-camera FaceTime with us. We also have twice a month study hall, and this is your actor admin time. This is your time to put acting on your schedule. I know this is not available to everyone. It's hard sometimes to say, this month I'm going to do these tasks for my career, especially if perhaps we are in a strike. Who's been talking about that? No one. Finding time to take care of your actor work, even when it may not be flowing into you, is really hard to prioritize on your own. So for study halls, we are going to come and it's co-working on Zoom. So maybe your co-working is you need to run scenes for class. Great. There's another actor there. We can put you in a breakout room. You have someone to work with. Maybe your co-working is, this is the time you're going to send 5 emails that you keep meaning to send. Or I'm going to update my actor's access. Or now that I'm on this call and I see everyone else is doing cool work, I'm going to read a play because that's what I have time to do, or read a script. Or maybe you need to fold your laundry and listen to a podcast because that is your actor activity for the day, whatever it is. And I think that's really important. And it just feels good to get on and off those calls and co-work in a group. Like, I get so much more work done in them. I don't know why. Specifically, something about the group mentality, right?
Yeah, I think it's something about knowing that other people are working, and so you should be working too. But I love that you said the laundry part about it, because I also think the same thing. Our brain is so full of acting things at all times that study hall can also be, this is the time I'm going to put this on mute and I'm going to sit here and do that old school thing we all did in 2020, color a coloring book, and I'm going to give myself 30 minutes of not doing anything, because I know these people will keep me accountable, but I need to actually not do something. And if I don't have that accountability, I'm going to do something else.
Yes. Yes. And just knowing that you're there. Like we often encourage people, this is either the time to do important stuff on your phone or put your phone down. It's just, I don't know about you, but I need that.
Put it on airplane mode for 30 minutes until this is done.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. 30-minute segments. It's 2-hour study halls. It's the 2 hours of co-working time. And speaking of co-working, it also makes me think of the other sense of our mindset and our physical movement.
So there's an actor's workout once a month that I'm going to be teaching. And this comes straight from the practice that I started doing a long time ago. I'm a big fan of using manifestation and positive thinking with exercise. And that's because when you're exercising, you're getting those lovely things called endorphins. We all feel really good. And that's a great time to capitalize on that good energy by telling yourself the things that you want to see in your life. So the actor's workout is meant to be a time for you to reset for the month, to get your affirmations figured out, to get your mind in a place where you want to be and go from that month, from that space. Think of it as a time to get your workout in, but also to figure out where you want your focus to be and to also have yourself creating what your I am statements are for the month that you're going to be using. An example of this would be like, if we're doing a HIIT class, you've got your yoga mat on the ground. I'm making you put 4 Post-its on every single corner of what you feel about yourself for this month. So I am enough. I am more than worthy. I am grounded. I am an actor, because I know all of us kind of struggle with taking on that ownership of being an actor. So then the HIIT class that we're going to do is focused on different sides of your mat. And when you're doing it, you're looking at those words. So you're capitalizing off of those endorphins. You're saying those things to yourself. Yes, I'm going to make you say them out loud. You'll be on mute. You'll be fine. And then you leave with this high feeling and seeing other people do it as well, knowing that you did the thing to check off your acting thing for the day, to check off your exercise, and to also get your mind where it needs to be to push you forward.
I can't wait.
She's
I
signed
need
up.
this. I need this. I'm in the front row of this workout class. I'm so excited. I know we said we were trying not to overprogram, but like there is quite a bit of offerings. But that's the cool thing, is that it's like, it's an offering. Take what serves you, leave what doesn't, especially considering we know the actor schedule is fluid. There might be a month where you're like, I'm going to make all the calls. We're going to try to make them as consistent as possible. And there might be a couple weeks where you book something and you go film and you're going to leave town, or you go visit your family or something and you're going to miss out on everything. Okay, cool. A lot of it is going to be recorded and in the back end, so you can always access it when you're ready. My favorite piece that I am going to run is going to be called Creativity Club. And it's going to be inside of the membership. And it will be once, probably every 6 weeks. So we give people enough time to do it. And it's going to be a place to find some creative inspiration. So we're going to all watch a movie and come and talk about it. Or we're going to all read a script maybe and then watch a movie and then come and talk about it. There might be a time in which we read a memoir from an actor or actress. There might be a club in which we come and do a table read of a play or of a TV show or of a movie. It's a place to get inspired and to get creatively activated, because sometimes it's hard to do that when all of your stuff is the work. So if all of your day-to-day is, I'm doing auditions when they come in, I'm doing the class assignments I'm supposed to do, I'm watching TV because I have to, it's like checking all boxes without taking care of your creative center. And I want that to be a priority for all of us, because it's something I need. This entire membership is based off of what Gabrielle and I both need, what we needed, what we currently need. And that's the cool thing, because it's going to fluidly flow. There's going to be times where we bring in some guest experts because we think they're incredible enough to bring to our people. There's going to be some times where we teach pop-up classes because something hit and we want to talk about it. And because we want it to be available to everyone, we also have this site backend where everyone's going to be able to access the library of content that we both put together.
That's the thing we always sleep on as well, because it's something we've offered to the people we work with for so long. So in this library is going to be the things that you would typically see, I guess, after class. Like you've got your headshot guide in there. You've got your actor's dictionary in there in case you're a new actor, you have no idea what terms are going to be happening. You can look at that guide and actually understand what you're getting yourself into. We've got on there my list of acting classes that you can go to in the LA market and the Atlanta market. We have guided meditations in there you can listen to before auditions, or if you're not feeling like an actor, there's guided stretches as well that you can use before a callback to relax your mind. These are things that Sam and I have been doing for so long on our own. And we just decided to be like, and we'll put them all in the library. And actually the other day we were making the list and we're like, we had a lot for this library, but we sleep on it all the time. And to be honest, I think the library is one of the best parts because yes, being able to speak with us is wonderful, but being able to know that those stages of your career, Sam and I have probably already walked through, and there's probably a guide for it. And if there's not a guide, you can ask us a question on Slack. We'll give you an answer real quick, and then we'll probably make a guide. And that's where the benefit is in like the years of experience that the two of us have. Like we can speak to so many things from an actor's perspective versus from a coach's perspective or a casting director's perspective. And we know what it's like to be in that position of like, is this a stupid question? I'm not sure. And that's what all that stuff lives in the library. Stuff that maybe someone would think is like, oh, this is basic knowledge, but it's actually the stuff that sets your career up the most.
Yes. And I, for one, am someone who I love reviewing basic knowledge because I either learn something new, see it from a different perspective, or I'm validated that the things I'm doing are on the right path or in the right manner.
Yeah. There's always something I feel like going back to what we said about the gray, there's always something you can learn. Like I can make an actor's dictionary, you can make an actor's dictionary. I guarantee you there will be terms in both that the other person didn't include. And that's the brilliance of it.
Yes. The membership, the actual members of the membership are going to lead this ship. So if we get 6 months, a year into this and they're like, the frequently asked questions have become A, B, and C, you better believe that A, B, and C is going to become a part of our group curriculum because we're in it. This is a big thing for us. The reason that we're doing this together is because we just double down on our knowledge and our availability. So when Gabrielle books something major and she's in Canada for 8 weeks filming, guess what? I can cover her classes. Like there is always, and you know what? The day that both of us book, we're hiring an incredible community manager and she can step in and help take care of this team. I want this to be available. And there's just so much more we can do as a community and as a group. And God, I'm so excited.
It's also just so much easier to support people together because when you're supporting people alone, sometimes it can feel like it's taking more out of you. Sometimes it can feel like, am I just saying things the way I would like to do it, but not the other way? We have this sounding board amongst all three of us to be able to go from. And then the other benefit of it is we are all, between you, I, and our community manager, Jen, completely different humans. And we've actually all approached this career totally different ways and are all successful. I mean, Jen's about to be doing a voiceover for I think like 3 or 4 weeks. And that's something that you and I think you did like a year and a half ago, but hers is for something completely different than what you've done. The ability to be able to speak to voiceover from those two different spaces is really cool versus it just being one of us being like, well, the one time I did voiceover, it looks like this, so be prepared for this. It's like, but also I did it and it looked completely different. Oh, cool. I did it and it looked completely different. And now you have 3 different perspectives for 3 different women. And you know, as an actor, a lot more about what to be prepared for.
Yes. Which is what I think is sometimes missing when you go about stuff solo. Like I felt it in running my Patreon, the Study Buddy and Insiders tier. I was like, I think I need like occasionally someone to run this by. I need another opinion. I need to make sure. And there's a ton of groups that I can't serve because of who I am and just like the general skin I live in. And so I think we can cover so many bases and be the thing that we both wish we had when we started this job.
And another thing I think we sleep on is that we're in 2 of the biggest markets for it. So the people that are in LA thinking about, should I move to Atlanta? You have someone to talk to directly, and vice versa. People in Atlanta, they're like, I think about making that jump to LA. You have someone to talk about immediately to tell you about who the casting directors are, what the best place in town is to live, like where you can go to get the cheapest groceries, what type of networking events actually makes sense. You have that between the both of us versus having to look at the 2 things that we offer and being like, man, who should I invest my time and money with? And what am I going to miss out if I don't do it with the other person as well? Now you get them both.
It's so much more powerful in so many ways. And we'll both still have our platforms, right? Like One Broke Actress isn't going anywhere. Gabrielle Byndloss isn't going anywhere. We both are going to continue to do what we do in the ways we do them. But this particular community will be a combined version of that. And that just like lights me up in a way that I just haven't really seen done before. So I'm pretty stoked.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait.
so
And also it's so
close.
close.
The doors are open right now, and we have launched this to our own communities privately first, but now it is public. So if you guys want to look at anything to do with the membership, there is an Instagram. It is themembership.co. We both have stuff on our Instagrams. You can look at themembership.co online as well. And all of the links are in the show notes if you guys want to look at it specifically for this podcast episode. And we would love if you guys would send any questions you have for us about this to sayhi@themembership.co. You can send them to us both too on our specific emails, but I think this is the better place to get your answers is sayhi@themembership.co, which is also in the show notes. But I just think this is so specific for what we're working on. Honestly, if you're like, hey, I'm thinking about this and you tell us your background, we'll probably say like, this may not be right for you or this is right for you. We are nothing if not honest people.
We're not in the business of taking people's money. We all know what it's like to be an
No,
actor.
I've been scammed one too many times. I am so specific with what I want people to invest and to be straight up with you guys. Like I said, we want to be fully honest. I hate when you have to scroll through a web page to like find how much something costs.
Or my favorite is the email us for more info. And then you still don't know. You have to email.
What if it's $1,000 a month? Do you really want that? No.
No. Yeah. And now you have my email to be able to
No, thank you. You give me your email if you want me to have it, but like, don't do that. So the membership is $115 a month for this first time we're opening the doors. The price will go up as we build up the library and the back end, because there will be more resources and more availability. But for this particular opening, it is $115 a month. When we hit 100 members, we're closing the doors to take care of our first set of people, and then we will open them once a quarter. We want to make sure everyone is seen and heard and taken care of in that initial group. And then when we are ready for more people, when we have the capacity, the staff, everything, then we will open it up again. So we wanted to be super clear about the pricing and the time structure of that. And also if you're thinking, oh no, I have to get on this right now, even though I know it's not right for me, I think we can slow our roll. I think check in with us, double check, look at it first, see if it's right for you. I hate the pressure to buy something just because you're on a timeline. This is going to exist indefinitely and our doors will be open later.
There's always going to be time to join. And just remember that if you don't feel it in your gut like it's the right time, it probably isn't. Go with your guts. When it's the right time, join. It'll be here. Sam and I are not going to stop working together. So we'll be here working on it. You join whenever it works for you.
In the meantime, you could also just follow us and catch our free content on TikTok, on Instagram, on both of our emails list. It's all linked below. So if this is not for you right now, just take our free stuff. If you want more from me, the $4 a month Patreon is still going strong. If you want more from Gabrielle, what else are you up to right now?
Yeah. So if you want more from me or you want like more of an individual me and you type of thing, you can always sign up for my empowerment mentorship. I also teach empowerment workshops in Atlanta once every 3 months. That's a group of women that come together and we spend an hour and a half just getting our mindset right. So that's another time. And then also same thing, Instagram and TikTok. We're giving out free knowledge all day, every day.
So there's so many ways to connect with us, but I really hope that you guys check out what we're creating. And if all else fails, just get inspired to realize that, as Gabrielle said, the person you might see as your biggest competition could in fact be your future business partner.
Yeah. You have no idea. If you told Gabrielle that, like, you actually do need to meet this person because she's going to be your business partner. Like, yeah, right. What business are we doing together? Oh, the exact business of what our friendship was built off of. Supporting each other in this acting world.
Which makes so much sense. I mean, I knew from day one, but that's okay. I'm glad I got you convinced.
You did. I was a slow burn, but I 100%. Once
slow
I knew,
burns
I
are my
knew,
favorite.
Slow burn.
Gabrielle, thank you so much for taking this time. All of your links will be in the show notes so people can come find you. And I just love you so much.
No, I love you too. I can't wait for this journey.
Just getting started. All right, guys. I will talk to you next week.